Hey, we're back again for the twin flame update. I'm not on the couch, but I will be soon, and walking regularly with me about the twin flame journey. So we will have chit chat. I will give you some updates of my perception and perspective on the twin flame journey. So click the like button when you check in, and then this video for other twins can get shared to other people. So I know it's late, but I know half of you on the twin flame journey probably aren't sleeping due to ascension symptoms, due to trying to meditate upon what to do. And you're getting to a point, you're like disillusioned by the journey. Getting to a point you're like, oh, where are we? Where are we going? What's going on? And getting triggered by the situation. Now, at some point, I'm going to get different people to come on, and Couch with YILDIZ is going to be a regular theme. So I'll try and name it correctly, but it will be in a folder saved under on the Couch with YILDIZ about the twin flame journey. And that's so you guys can gain perspective from me of what I've been through. Hi, Hardly. So you can maybe see in the journey that you can take away and apply to your given journey. As I said previously, those of you who are new, welcome. I twin flame. I'm also psychic. I have been on this journey now on and off over 17 years. Now, when I say on and off, it's not I've been in action that entire time, although my awareness of the twin flame journey came about approximately 2 years ago. But I have had several situations where it has been, I've been in a relationship and they've been single, then single, and I've been in a relationship, then I've been married, then just you name it, it's happened. I've experienced it. Soulmates. So the perspective and the learnings I've had through the journey, I'm hoping I can share to you guys and tell you some of the things that I feel are going to help you through. Now, number one, when you're a twin flame, twin will come back. That's the way it goes. If you've got a block, no, they don't return because you need to actually address the block. Now, when they do return, it's not to say you're all together, and that's part of the problem. That's where you get reunion, not union, and that's where a lot of people are misunderstanding what the reconnection is. Now, when we're looking at the Lionsgate portal, the time frame when we're having ascension symptoms, transferring, having Kundalini awakenings, all of that, you've also got to grasp the fact that the work is your spiritual path journey work. Now, if you're applying it, the way you can decipher what the work is a few ways. For you to get the success out of a journey, you need to look at your life. Your life is your resume as to what is blocking you from your twin flame. If you've been in the connection and you've come out of it by looking at the things that triggered you, that you learned, that's your resume of what you're going to be applying in the foundation work for the next in connection. Okay? Hi, New Zealand. Now, when you reconnect with twin, to turn it into union, you need to realize that when they talk about it's not a romantic novel, it is, but it isn't. Yes, it's about the connection spiritually that you feel, that you sense within this person. But to get it to union, you need to have a relationship with yourself. Now, to get that relationship with yourself, what I've noticed, and I was talking to Giggle about this last night, I've seen a synchronistic pattern in the connection. And I had to really look at it. And it's not just what you learn each time you come out of the journey and what it assisted you with. That's part of the key as well. So if you can look at where you were when you connected with them at the very first point in time, what you learned out of it, where you were blocked. Now, where you were blocked has been the work that you would have been working on right now. Okay? Now, look at your life right now. Have a 101 check-in with yourself right now. Where do you feel in your life right now there is a roadblock? And it's not connected to twin. It's very much connected to you. Do you have a career? And it doesn't have to be you're going to be highly successful. I'm not talking about that. Do you have your finances in order? Do you feel stable? Do you feel emotionally grounded? Do you feel safe within your intuition, where you can decipher the bits and bobs of, am I coming in? Am I going out? Are there healthy boundaries? Have I dealt with my codependency? Am I going to come across as controlling or analytical towards it? Or am I going to be able to comfortably be in my energy and my frequency and interact with this person regardless of the past, regardless of the past? That's very important. That's your life jacket. And I think I'm really going to use that as an analogy in the twin flame journey. Now, my recollection is when I first met my twin, I was in a karmic relationship. Now, he also was in what you were doing as a sort. And regardless, every situation that we've got to learn out of is karmic energy. If we've got a block and we need to learn a lesson, it's related to a karmic cycle. So if you've learned something out of it and you were stuck and they helped you out of that, that was the purpose of that situation. Although that looks very unromantic, but it was assisting your soul to grow spiritually, to get to union. And so when you look at it at that point in form, it can look like, oh God, have I just turned on another one? I'm telling you, technology is not working with me right now. Now, when it comes down to the meat of the journey, you look at the different patterns of the ins and outs of when you come in, when you went out, look at a theme that occurred around those times. And for me, when I was in my karmic connection, I was adamant I was going to get the connection right. And no matter what I'm doing, it was really a very necessary time for me to spiritually grow and climb out of that connection. Now, it's almost like it's going slow. That's really weird. So when I did end up having the first meeting with my twin, they were in a relationship. Now, they also spiritually were in a place where they had outgrown the situation. And sometimes even the vibration of the two people meeting assist in that evolving and transpiring a little bit faster. So when you meet each other, what happens is in your 3D life, if you're not meant to be there, the ignition of it is by meeting. It's by recognition, so you assist each other in awakening through a particular time frame and assessing your life and going, is this in my higher good? If it's not, and you've been an ego and fear and codependent energy, and that's either side, what happens is it throws you out. You get off balance, and your twin helps you get out of that dynamic. That can be through communication, through trigger points, through a soul recognition, but it's various mediums that it comes through. So for me, that's really what happened. It ignited him first. My understanding was, it's like I know this person. So I can't speak for him, but I felt a soul connection, like I recognized him and I knew him. And I found him to be a very intriguing person where it was like, this person's really different. It's like I really know them. I was very intrigued to get to know them, but they were very quiet and it was like they were being placed. And I've really noticed that in the twin flame journey is that with both of us, really we're made to be something that we never really were. So we would shape ourselves to fit our relationships through our life. And it was more, we were morphing ourselves into what perhaps was correct for that given partner at the time, but completely truthfully for ourselves. And that's really been happening on both sides. And when I have visually watched my twin in his relationships, it's like the person I know and see in here and out changes. And we do spiritually change, but it's like they're trying to package themselves. Twins try to package themselves for that partnership. And as we spiritually grow and we awaken, we physically find we just can't. So that collectively is really what will be happening with the masculine energies, is that they're going to feel that they can't fit that paradigm. They won't feel they fit. It's the facade you're trying to keep up. And after a while, you just can't get that facade up. It doesn't fit correctly. So I know you guys are coming to a place where you're feeling, you know, we're disheartened, we're not in change. It very much is connected to the planets at the moment. We are going through a mass transformation. Because there's not a lot of information out there, we're getting too in the ego that it's a twin flame. Now, look at it. Yes, you have soul energy of it being a twin flame. It's a past life relationship. It's a past life spiritual connection. The other half of yourself, your soul, your one. But you're here in the 3D, right? So you're brought together spiritually to help each other grow. You will reach the point where if you choose to grow, you will and can have the connection. Now, yep, we've heard it. We've all heard it, divine timing. Now, if you look at your life right now, do you feel aligned correctly that that door's open and they're ready to come in? I know, I'm sorry, but you guys wanted it, so I'm up here. So when you look at it, do you feel, I mean, check in with yourself. Have you got all your ducks in a row? Are you prepared? What if they were to turn up tomorrow? Do you feel spiritually like you've got your life jacket? You know, like Giggle said, and I know someone else has said this isn't a trial run, this is life. Are you ready to the point that, you know, you're ready to deal with adversity? You're ready to deal with what your twin has to say to you. You know, if perhaps there's something they feel like goodbye within you. Are you ready to talk shop of what transpired if they choose to do that? Are you ready to hear their perspective regardless of what has transpired? Is your life in check where you are feeling grounded, where you have your friendships, you have your job? We've been purging, guys, so we need to be a little bit more gentle with ourselves that this has been a pretty crappy year. And to get through it, we're getting triggered because we would love to have the old traditional relationship coming and going, it's okay, love, I know you've had a shitty year. But that's, yes, I check in with myself, you know. I have had a pretty crappy year. Overall, I know this is going to hugely benefit me. But when we're in that ego, and a lot of us are really struggling with ego at the moment because ego can be controlled. It's what we can control. It's the lightning bulb on the shoulder saying, hey, we're in danger here. This doesn't feel safe. Our ego is also being a little bit gentle because of the trigger points of the planets. But to the core, it's not completely who we are. So when we're looking at the things, we're looking at videos and we're hoping we're going to see a time frame, a date, and an answer. But who we're really wanting the answer from, one from ourselves, one from our own personal power, which is us making physical decisions at a given point in time and not psychoanalyzing ourselves to a point where we're saying, what if we make the wrong decision? If we remove the ego and we were truthful in every moment, we would address every aspect of what we needed at that given time. You know, in the next 2 weeks, we're going to feel more grounded to have that clarity. And it'll be your internal clarity because nobody can make you do anything you don't want to do. You know, you could click on a video and go, wow, what are you selling? And what you'll find is that, and I've noticed this collectively, is that I had to tune in the frequency of what was going on with the collective. And because we are timelines, a lot of people's ways in which they're doing videos has done a complete 360. So usually the energy was all for the divine feminine, and now it's almost like Adolf Hitler coming in, attacking feminines and supporting masculines, when really we're one soul. You know, we hold both energies, so attacking and fighting ourselves. And that's really, I think, a very relevant point at this point in time. They do not define us, but they are our soul. They're our heart and soul, and we love them. But we have to check in with ourselves and love ourselves. And it's a very fun sometimes in a twin flame journey, especially when you're getting to the point where you're looking at it very 3D. You're looking at it and you're saying, but they did this to me. That's very 3D. You know, as I said, a reader the other day mentioned the fact that masculine could return, that they wanted an open relationship and that they wanted to have their cake and eat it too. It's really funny that she said it that way because that's all really relevant. If you're physically waiting for your twin and they're in a karmic connection, you already are the third party. You spiritually have that connection with them for the rest, regardless. But they're in a connection. So, you know, you're weighing up the pros and cons. How do I look at this? I know I have my sense where I'm directly connected to this human being, but they're in a relationship, okay? Now, when the person's in a relationship, some people say, hey, you know, when do you know when to contact twin? Well, my advice would be, you know, what's happened, you intuitively know when's correct. And it doesn't have to be. In the ego, say, because they did wrong by us, we can't get to a point where we can make peace. Well, when you have released it, you can make peace, and it doesn't come down to the ego of who needs to connect with who first. Yes, you have the benchmark of what you think an excellent kind of demeanor would be, But it's a spiritual connection between two people. So when it comes across as, and look, it is each to their own. I'll get to you in a minute, JS, sorry. When it comes to, you know, are they going to come in and say, I want an open relationship? That's for you to discern if that's correct for you. No judgment. But spiritually, what I'm saying is they need to choose themselves. We need to choose ourselves. And it's hard work to choose yourself without getting into the ego of fear of, am I going to be left on the shelf? Now, physically, me personally, I've always been okay to be alone. But as you get older and you've had this spiritual with this person, you do feel like, wow, you know, I have been waiting for this human being a very long time. And it's almost like, but I've done that. And that means I'm owed this. And it's like, yes, that's ego. I never did anything in my journey where I felt any person in my life give me back anything. But when you hurt, you can receive those vibrations. You're frustrated because you're thinking, I played my cards right. You know, why did this happen to me? I actually don't understand. That's understandable. But if you're in that frequency, that communication can be very toxic if you were to communicate with each other with vibration. Many of the masculines had been going through a transformation. But if you feel the need to communicate, you need to keep it neutral. You need to not jump the gun and jump any steps ahead. A lot of times masculines have been ready. Think back, Ernie. Masculines have been ready and they were testing feminines. They felt this connection, but you didn't pass the test in their mind. And I'll tell you why. It can be something so subliminal they said, but because of their trigger points from the past, they shut down very quickly. And you wouldn't have even known it happened. I mean, for me, I got asked to move in 5 times. Now, at a frequency level, for children's sake, his sake, situation's sake, it was not I didn't want to move in. It was it didn't look aligned correctly, so I was being very 3D rational. And sometimes it's as simple as that they feel, are you completely prioritizing your whole life and putting me at the bottom of the barrel? That can be one strike. Are you, and it'll be so subliminal, but it can be that point where they've got a block. It is their issue. They could have communicated it. It's something so slight that can block them down to a point they'll retreat. Really, that is for them to own, but that realization can help you understand why communication is so important, why being receptive and having your intuition connected is very important. Not going to a reading and thinking, oh, it's, you know, they're going to come. So how do you deal with that? Mine are 5 times. I was lucky I had 5 times asking. When I was ready to do it and I thought, call into the wind, bugger it, be the fool card, it was too late. You know, you've got to, and that's not to say that, you know, things change, but it's to be aware in the situation that, what are you prioritizing? Did you have your life in balance? Me personally, no, I didn't. But that's because I took too much of Dylan's responsibilities on, where I could have handed them back and he held them, that I became overburdened through my action, that we didn't have as much time together. So then the value system was, well, you have no time for me, so where's the relationship? You get what I'm saying? In what shape or form, Desiree? It does, but that's the 3D. And I mean, from my understanding of the twin flame light journey, what I've experienced is, for me personally in my twin flame journey, I mean, a few people, and especially my clientele, I can privately aspects of my journey, but it's quite slight. It's more my friendship, because I protect my twin, because he's a human being after. But what I can say is, how do I put it? Yes, on the 3D, I look at it and go, bloody hell, 14 years. Now, for me, spiritually, I wanted children with my twin. That didn't happen. I wanted to be married. That didn't happen. Then at one point, it was like, I want Christmas. I want birthdays. I would love birthdays. I would love Christmas. I would love the family dynamic. And I was blessed to have that. And that will be in my memory. but it was like photos, you know, or to have the title. And I think we do want it to be that very 3D relationship. And it's not that it can't be that, but they need to be in love with themselves and love themselves, and they can trust their intuition, and detoxify if they're in toxicity. And it doesn't mean to say they're going to be, it's not that. It's to the point they're not utilizing something to avoid an emotion, a feeling, a trigger, which is what we do, because feminines do run as well. Sometimes, I mean, many of us are like, we want, and our twin comes back and then we're like, we want to run. Why do you want to run? Have you got your life jacket on? Your life jacket is the work you're physically to a point where you have your life in check and you have healthy boundaries. And that's in general, that's in life as well. When I say you're a twin forever, you're a twin forever. So if you go into a soulmate connection, spiritual path is to learn and purge half these things. So you can go into a soulmate connection, but you'll still get the same trigger points. So you're going to have to address it in the same way. It will be a different frequency. The spiritual connection you have with a soulmate to a twin is very different, but it's you know, and I mean, Giggle and I were saying, I'm sure even the masculine is sometimes, can't we just magically create a twin that is grounded? I mean, but that wasn't part of our spiritual path. I mean, I have to sign off and say that's not my twin, we'll go get another one, but that's not the way it works. Once you've cemented that spiritual connection, have a spiritual connection. It doesn't make sense. I mean, some of the things spiritually that have happened to me on my twin flame journey, a rational person, which I am rational, I have left partners. It's not, I am a forgiving person, but I also have self-esteem. So, strange connection in a twin flame journey. You directly have compassion because you understand that they're growing. So you initially may feel heightened emotions in despair, but they expire, but you change. And a lot in the second wave have got to a point where they have had that detach. Now, masculines may receive that energy in a frequency where they're going, I've lost my twin. Feminines in that group who have had maybe betrayals or toxicity or something like that transpire, that have had that sense of detachment where they can't do this anymore, I can't play that chess game. What you'll find is they receive that energy and it helps them wake up in their ascension to heal their life. But it's not, you're not open to the communication and a potential. It's that the old way of doing things you go back to because you've outgrown that. It wasn't a game when you were playing it. You were deadly serious and really wanting a relationship. But what way you came at it, it was just not coming together. And so it really fatigued a lot of feminists. But it is actually part of, if you read the twin flame journey, it is part of the stage where it gets to that point. The next point is union. But it's got to be purged correctly. So any of your blocks, you need to release. The ego is control, right? So when we're controlling, going, where are they? What time are they coming? They're talking to me. Who are they with? Who are they sleeping with? What are they doing in Facebook? You know, paranoia. When you're in that frequency, going back into reunion, not union, because you have a block. So you've got to deal with block. And it's hard. It's hard work. But it's freeing because when you purge, you release, and when you release, you're in alignment, means you'll have union. And then you can communicate correctly. Then you won't treat each other as much. You won't care if they come and go and do their thing and work away. You're doing your thing because you have your life in order. But when you don't have your life in order and you're trying to fit it into a traditional way, you're not even a traditional way. You've got to your life and see, and you'll find that you couldn't go back to the ball and chain sink. You couldn't go back to where are you, what time are you coming home, you know, because emotionally and spiritually you're a different person. You've had a lot more responsibilities. You've been an empath. The people you've dealt with, you know, friendships that have betrayed you or treated you in a certain way and you haven't respected yourself, stood up for yourself, you're not that person anymore. So because you've evolved, you can't go back into a traditional way of being. And some relationships may not even be able to withhold you because you are a different person. But it's not to say you can't meet high vibration soulmate. But you need to be completely aware that those triggers can still come through in a soulmate connection. So yes, unions and reunions are coming, but to check what it's going to be, ask yourself the questions. Am I creating healthy boundaries? Do I have my life jacket on? Yes, I have my heart open and I'm receptive, but I'm not budging to the point I'm breaking my back. I'm not giving to a point where it's highway robbery. I'm not going into it to give intimacy to then get nothing out of it, like I've been spiritually raped. You know, you're giving and you're worshipping your temple and your life to a point where you're balance. Justice is you serving yourself justice, treating yourself respectfully, knowing your boundaries, your limit, give and take. And it's not you judging and being nasty to the person. You're actually doing them a favor by doing what we were doing before we were doing them adverse, because spiritually speaking, they can become aligned correctly a lot quicker if we don't try and manage the journey. You got to trust in the bigger picture and see how it flows. Does that make sense? What did you want to ask, Goofy? Yeah, well, a lot of people have been saying, like, well, you know, if my twin comes, how do I know if I'm safe? Well, if you're asking that question, theoretically, you don't feel safe and you're not ready. And that's not bad. It's not to say if they come and, oh, you know, am I going to be okay? It's, yeah, you will be. Well, you know that intuitively, love. That's what I mean. You know, you're a twin. What is your sense when it comes to the twin flame journey? Are you serious with you? You know, what he's doing, you know, I mean, we had a joke in my twin flame journey, and a friend of his said to him, he said to my twin by name, obviously, he addressed, he was like, well, do you know what you need to do? You need to get a house and you need to have a hill. So when you run away, you can just roll down the hill and come back up again. And from my experience, I mean, I had one karmic be quite bitter towards me via the phone one time, and it was very nasty. It was very narcissistic, and I had accepted it internally that he'd moved on. I didn't know I was a twin back then, and it was very deceitful the way she went about winning my twin. But regardless, it was divinely guided, and it was a choice, which I respected. And she rang me to really abuse me. And the abuse was mental abuse. It was to a point where she was mocking the fact that she'd pinched this person who I was in love with. And I said to her, through experience and knowing in the journey, I said to her, be happy. And she kept going and making obscene noises and really provocative. And I said, well, that's okay. You can borrow him. And she goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, he always comes back. And she goes, no, we're getting married and we're having this and we're doing that. And I went, well, I'll have him and the babies. Because that's unconditional love. It's like, I love you. If you are happy, I'm happy for you. Yes, my whole dream has been to be with you, but I know my worth. And I was like, be there then. Because it's, if we are in alignment and happy, we're not trying to prove a point, and he tolerated it. So to me, that was him saying, are you jealous? Do you miss me? Slightly, but I felt a bit let down that my twin tolerated that, but I'm not judging him, because to me, it was saying a louder statement than the actuality that he allowed his karmic to contact me, or to try and rub the energy of what was going on between their connection in my, I wasn't even fighting for him. So, you know, when that happens, your awareness of, cool, you're going to come back again anyway. And that's not like, if he spiritually chooses to be happy and he's in alignment, I'm happy for him. But the reality is we have a deep spiritual connection. So when he does come back, I get it. I understand. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes what you see, and your ego is telling you, oh, they're getting married. It's like ant. And I mean, Giggle and I have talked about this. It's like, look, if they're doing it, how do I put it? If they're doing it just to say they're married, they're doing it just to say they're married. If they are thinking their ego's being stroked because they've got a younger woman, someone who's rich, and they actually don't love them or they think they do, I'm telling you, 2-3 weeks and they're going, what the hell? And then they're stuck there. So if they're in alignment and that person is a true soulmate, time will tell. And why would they call you then? Right? Why would they be calling you? Why would they be all of a sudden like get a few weeks into the journey and they, what have I done? But no, you can't have your cake and eat it too. But you can live there and have a good think about the great relationship you chose because that was a spiritual, and that's okay. God bless. Like, if you want that relationship, I'm happy for you. But if you're not in truth with yourself, you can't have a relationship with any feminines and masculines. So if you're going into it to feel safe because your finances are shit, you're doing it the wrong way. If you're going into it because you don't feel grounded or worthy of love, it's going to break down. Do you get what I'm saying? It won't matter twin or non-twin. Twins just get it harder, right? We cop it worse because this was our spiritual path. We were to learn things and grow up. But we should never be in any spiritual connection being codependent because that's risky. It's like going without your life jacket. You know, you don't have your life together. You don't have your finances together. You're under another person's energy and frequency and you have nothing to show. You will become boring. You will become irrelevant. You know, you can't keep chemistry in a relationship if you're sitting back going, I'm married now. I mean, who's going to put up with that? It's so bloody boring. Yet when we're not married, we're keeping that frequency high with life interesting because there's not an expectation connected to it. The twin flame journey is very similar. Hi, Gypsy. So when you're looking at them and they're getting married, ask yourself the question, what are you seeing? You know, are you seeing that they are like glowing and happy? Different thing. They're learning something. They're in a soulmate connection. Or are you seeing it's just big shots taken where they're trying to show the whole world how happy they are? One thing I've learned in life. If you're taking hundreds of photos to try and prove to the world how fucking happy you are, you're miserable. Okay? And the only person who suffers is not you. It's the person who's in that relationship, right? So they're sitting there and they make all this hard work trying to prove to their twin how happy they are. They're miserable. They're bloody miserable. Until they can acknowledge that themselves and look at their issues in their life, and that's feminines and masculines. This hair's driving me crazy. We are not in alignment. And when we're not in alignment, what happens is we get some hard lessons, some tower moments, because we're not living from a place of truth. I mean, I've had to really micromanage myself this year and say, don't make any decisions. Spiritually, you don't know what to do. You don't have the clarity right now. So I try and be very careful. I am open. I know I won't be on the shelf forever. I don't need a relationship, but I would like a relationship, but I would like clarity too. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm waiting to see what my guides tell me. My door is open to communicate with my twin. That's if he feels in alignment and ready. But I wouldn't manipulate it because it's not where I'm at spiritually. Does that make sense? Yeah, but see, they can only happen in a relationship when you're playing them. Okay, but we don't know because the way it comes through with twins, the masculine tends to, it looks like it, and it's a bit like that song. I've forgotten her name now. Codes. The song is called Codes. I mean, I've got so many twin flame songs, it's not funny. And it's more from, it's not even twin flame, it's the confusion of relationships. And this that come in it. It's not Jessie J. Ella Goulding, Codes. Go and listen to the song. It's like you are trying to work out Morse code in the twin flame journey and you're going, okay. And I mean, I was saying this before. I would communicate with my twin the way he would communicate with me, thinking it was like, okay, standard. Okay, that's his language. So he wouldn't write okay, he'd write K. So I would communicate back and he goes, what do you mean? And I'll be, what do you mean? What do I mean? I wrote K, which means okay, right? And he's, are you being cheeky? And I went, no, I'm not. I'm just responding back in the way you're responding to me. sometimes, you know, they do get triggered, but it's, well, form a bigger sentence. You're giving me a letter. My time's important too. Can I have a sentence, like one sentence at a time? That's ego. So we do train people and tolerate and allow people to treat us a certain way. I'm straight, if it was another person, they'd be getting us a flower crushed off the ground, and they'd be buying another Sheila abroad, a bitch, a bouquet and diamonds. And they'd highway robbery. So in the beginning of the journey, it's great at the very beginning. But then when you got the blocks, if you don't deal with them and address them correctly and you stay in that codependent frequency, you drag it out as long as I did, 7 years. Now, that could have changed had I done my work, but I didn't know about the twin flame journey. So those of you who go on a video and it's saying your twin's coming back, or you can change that frequency. As you grow, you close in your line. That's the deal. Simple as that. Be aware, have your life jacket, do the work, you know, come and use the tools that I have on, you know, my channel. Book readings with people to the blocks out. Check in with your chakras. Check your attitude when it comes to your mind of your twin. I mean, if you're open enough to know that your twin is to have his own hopes and dreams, your twin is to be to a point where, yes, you do support each other, but you support each other's ethics and morals. Into alignment in that way. At the moment, you'll find your twin actually does have similar values, but it's the energy they're dealing with, which isn't even to do with you. It's their energy and their frequency of feeling safe, feeling grounded, feeling secure about themselves, having trust in feminine energies. That does not. I mean, I heard a video the other day and they said feminines had taught the masculine this way in slight shapes and forms. Yes, I would agree, but that's from a trigger point and that's part of the twin flame journey. But it's not, we have abused masculine to the point where we've broken him down. I'm sorry, life has done that. Life has done that to us too. And I would never take complete responsibility for how screwed up my masculine's life is, because it's not so. I have been very supportive on my twin flame journey. I'm by no means saying I'm perfect, but I did the very best I could do. And I'm sure he did as well. So when it comes down to it, it can be feminine energies in general, but generally speaking, a karmic related energy. Does that make sense? What time is it? Any questions before I go? I will be doing more of these videos, but I'll just try and break it down. Okay, so I know you're not feeling grounded at the moment. Try and, especially when you're getting triggered, my strongest advice, because trust me, I have been too, I'm human. Have your purge, have your cry if you need to. Get back to business. The more work you do, it's been hard to focus on life, but if you can shift the energy back onto yourself, it benefits you greatly and it keeps you grounded. Sometimes the ifs, the whys, the wheres are horrendous. Yeah, I love you, Goofy. It is hard, doll. It is hard because it's like they're our best friend and it's very sad. And I think spiritually, a lot of twins who aren't in union, you know, we would be very to just have a friendship, even if it was just that. But some of us have even gone past that. Like, change is happening and change does need to happen. I don't feel like, I've argued this and disputed this for many years. I do not believe people stay the same forever. And that's because we can't stay the same forever, because we're forever changing. And trying to get to a point you know who you are, that's not real either, because you are never who you were yesterday. So that's why I don't believe in people stay the same forever. Situations make people change. I mean, real old energies inside a person's antics, that can be problematic to change, but dynamics and tower moments can help that move. And you not tolerating it is important too. So if you had met me years ago, I was a very judgmental person. I had very strict parents. I had a beautiful, like, they instilled in me good ethics and morals. I never used to swear. I was like, my grandmother would put soap down my throat if I did that. But, you know, in work, professional, I worked in the care field for 25 years. And I have a great respect for the elderly. And that's where my empath energy comes from, through childhood in my family. But who I was back then as a teenager, I was not allowed to mix with other girls. My energy frequency of who I was very judgmental. I was very closed-minded. As I've grown, I literally would say, people sometimes don't accept me, but it's more from the point of view of intimidation. But they shouldn't be, because I'm just another human being. Whereas for a while, I felt that I needed to fit in with them. And that's what I mean by twin flames end up trying to remold themselves to be something that they're not. Whereas where I am today, you could be a multi down the street and I'd say hi. You could be a person on the street, on the floor, asking for 5 cents, and I would say hi. So I'm the same person, whoever I talk to. And those of you who get readings from me know this. I'm exactly the same person as you see on YouTube, who you see on Facebook. I'm exactly the same person because I don't shit in people's pockets. That's tiring. It's a facade. It's not worth it. If I don't like something, whatever I say to another person, if I am talking about something, I will say that directly to a person's face. So I would never, if I have an issue with someone, I'll tell you to your face. I'll be very brutally honest, but I won't be nasty, but I can look after myself. And people, especially connected to my twin flame, feminine energies, female energies, would almost be like, they would try and intimidate me, and I would be like, you don't know who I am. You really don't know who I am. So you don't fight a battle that's not worth fighting, because they sorely will lose, because it's never been a competition. But you thinking it's a competition, it makes it a competition. They are lower frequency energies and it won't last. Yet your spiritual connection with a human being is your spiritual connection, and they won't have that. So that's their loss. Anyway, I will love you and leave you. And if you're wanting to make a booking on the other videos, it won't be on here yet, I don't think, but the website address will be directly below. I am going to be doing a live on the couch talk regularly, and I will actually give people that have booked readings with me an opportunity to join me on the live and talk to me live and ask questions. So it'll be part Skype, part YouTube, and I can have you on a back screen behind me. I might sit myself in the living room, and then that way you guys can interact with me. So those of you who have already booked readings with me previously, I will randomly select you should you be live with me. I'll email you prior, and we can get you on for a live session for about 5-10 minutes, asking a few questions and talking about different things in the journey. If you don't want your camera on, you don't have to, but I will give you an opportunity to speak. I will be getting guests on the show as well. So I'll be getting different people. Like at one stage I have offered Jen. Lysiana will probably go, no way, YILDIZ, I'm not getting on camera. Giggle, Darry, Mark. So anyone else who is interested in collaborating with me, feel free to touch base with me, and we can pick a subject matter connected to the twin flame journey, and we can address those things. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you. Look after yourselves, and you can book a reading if you like. The special is coming down today, so go grab it while you can, because it will be taken down. Okay, bye guys. If I can turn it off. That's okay. I can never turn this off. It drives me crazy.